Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's good. It's a little cloudy today. It's a perfect day to talk about forgiveness, as this is a subject that came up in a conversation I was having with somebody. And I thought it would be a good thing to talk about now because it's actually a really, well, the concepts that are applied here are very important for what I'm going through right now. And I'll explain. So, in the beginning of talking about forgiveness, I'd like to just look at the word and think about it in terms of being for giving. Okay? So, it's like I'm pro giving. If that makes sense? So it's like you're petitioning for giving. And in order to be for giving, you need to have something to give. And that's my analysis of the situation when it comes to giving and receiving and the relationship dynamics that come from a scarcity mentality and a sense of a feeling of a lack of abundance in an individual. What's happening is that the only reason you're bothered by another person's behavior is because they're triggering something inside of you. And you're mad that that is in you. And it's a part of yourself that you have suppressed and rejected and denied. And because of that rejection, it's grown bigger and bigger until now it's up in your face. Life-size action figure. So it's really nice when you can build the sensitivity to notice these things before they happen and to have the tools to navigate through them. But what happens when it's already happened, you didn't pay attention, and now you've got this thing in your face? Well, you have the same opportunity that you always did to resolve whatever it is that you've been suppressing within yourself, change your limiting beliefs until you can reach the place where you are abundant in yourself, so that when somebody's acting out of scarcity or pain, and it's in any situation around the world, you see anyone, they say hurt people hurt people. So when you really understand that, you'll see that the solution is not to try to control them more, because they're only going to reflect that control back to you. That's the thing to think about with your relationship with the government and the police. That's something that I'm transforming within myself, although I've personally had a very positive relationship with them my entire life. So it's easier for me to continue that positive relationship. But in general, forgiveness is all about you, okay? I know I'm not excusing other people's behavior, and you do whatever you think is necessary to do to resolve the actual things that happened, whatever it is that could have been a physical thing, could have been financial, whatever. Do whatever you need to do to resolve it. But I'm just saying that because your state of being is what's creating your reality, the only way you're really going to find the resolution that you're looking for is by going within. And what a easy, simple way to get the solution, instead of waiting and waiting for the other person to give you what you're seeking. Just give it to yourself. Now you don't have to sit there and spend a lifetime regretting something or worrying about something. And I'll give you another example of why it's so important to go within with this process. Because even if the other person forgives you, you still have to forgive yourself. You still have to reprogram the energy inside of yourself, whatever limiting belief it is that you have, whatever relationship you have with that aspect of yourself, into a more positive, more harmonious relationship, so that you can liberate that energy, accept it as part of yourself, and move forward in life and extract the benefit from it and utilize it as a new source of power in your experience. And this is with my dog, actually. my beautiful dog growing up. It's actually gonna bring me to tears right now. So, yeah. God, I love my dog. Absolutely love my dog. But you know, I was hurt growing up by people who were hurt, and the cycle of hurt continued with me and my dog. So sometimes I'd take my anger out on my dog, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm angry now, I'm gonna beat up my dog. It's just more like mischievous, snidely, just being an asshole, basically. And, you know, after I'd grown up, and, you know, he died in a way that was not very great, but now I have a different perspective on it. It's like his work here was done. Like, we weren't really interacting with him that much anymore. He was just kind of hanging out in the backyard. It's like, all right, guys, I'm out of here. It had already been 12 years anyway, so most dogs, you know, that's about the time. But anyway, later, as I began my spiritual awakening, I started to have dreams, and sometimes he would show up. And I even had a dream where all kinds of stuff happened, and it ended up with him literally lifting up his paw and giving me a fist bump in the dream. And I started crying, and I woke up like really like emotionally affected. And that was back when I was still very, very repressed. And for me to cry was a big deal. So just giving that as an example of how impactful that situation was for me. And even after the fist bump, I still feel a little guilty about how I treated my dog, you know, about the things that I did to him, you know. And, you know, so it doesn't matter that he's forgiven me. That's how I interpreted that dream. There's been a few other dreams that I've had with my dog. But that's just one example of how someone else can forgive you completely, but you've got to forgive yourself, you know? So hopefully I can get to the point in my life where I've brought enough light within me that I'm able to honestly address whatever energy it is that guilt or shame represents that I haven't quite been able to completely let go of. So there you go. I'd like to give you some examples about how I've dealt with some situations that have happened within the last couple of years with some people that are pretty close to me, actually. I had an argument with someone close to me, and the resolution of that was that we were not really speaking. It was more like they weren't talking to me because I was still like, hey, let's... You know, I did like apologize and stuff afterwards, but it was kind of meh. So I felt like the best thing to do was to just give them their space and just move on with my life. And as time went on, you know, they say you don't know what you got till it's gone. And I really, really started to feel how much I value this person in my life and appreciate interacting with them. You know, I'd find little jokes or things here and things that I'd want to share, and I'd be like, oh, I'd love to share that with so-and-so, but then it's like, oh, we're not really talking, or I don't want to like bother them by like sending a bunch of stuff. So it was a challenge, you know, to deal with that and feel like I'd lost that connection. But you know, when I think about the situation, it was around when COVID had like first started and the lockdowns were going on, and I was a little stressed out, you know, financially, doing my best to make enough money so that I could, you know, meet my obligations until the relief assistance came in, the unemployment stuff came in, and you know, so I was like trying to sleep, and this person was making noise. And it's like, you know, I want to sleep so I can get up, so I can like be responsible and do all these things. And this person's over here, you know, just making noise and they don't give a shit. And they actually said that to me. And when they said that, you know, what I should have done was embrace them. That's what I would do now, right? But in the heat of the moment, I was feeling that lack. And so because I was feeling that lack and that scarcity, and I was in pain, I was not able to see their pain. And because they were in pain, they were not able to see my pain. And so that's basically what happens. You get two people who are in pain, they're feeling a sense of lack in some way, shape, or form. And that's what's causing the tension or the friction between the two of you. And so in order to relieve that, you've got to forgive yourself first. You've got to embody the state of abundance within yourself that makes the argument that you had obsolete. And so to create that state of, that energetic state within myself, what I did is I focused on the positive aspects. And it's possible to focus on the positive aspects in any given situation. Everything in the universe has a polarity to it. Your mind can't understand anything without polarity, which means that there is a positive aspect or attribute to anything you are experiencing or observing. And so when you've trained your mind enough to focus on the positive, you'll have a positivity bias instead of a negativity bias, because it's all out there in the hologram. So whatever you want to experience, you can bring into your reality by focusing on that aspect. And as you focus on it more, it's going to grow. So I focus on the positive attributes of the individuals who are close to me, who I don't want to completely let go of, but maybe there's some things in our relationship that aren't quite the way I'd like them to be. And that's an example with another individual who is also very close to me, and I would love to have a better relationship with them. And I realized that trying to make them change was not working. It's coming in from the guise of, I'm doing this so that you will then be different, never works. It's only control and manipulation, and you will get a proportional amount of control and manipulation in return. And so your relationship will have this facade on the surface, and the thickness of that facade depends on how honest you are with each other. And so I was like, you know what? I don't care. I love this person. They've done so many things for me throughout my life. It doesn't matter. And I know that the only reason they're doing the things that I don't like are because of the pain that they've been through. And they've been through some shit. So I have compassion for them now. And that's what I was talking about with what I'm going through right now as far as being a coach, and how that relates to the tie-in with the concepts of forgiveness that I'm giving now. Is the idea that as a coach, I need to bring that person into me. I need to become them and wake up as them. Because we just tell people stuff. You're just kind of spewing out information, but the only thing that really matters is the receptivity. So in order to become receptive, I need to have the compassion to take you within me, understand how it is that you actually feel, and find the areas where you have the least amount of resistance or the most amount of allowing to bring the message in so that you can understand it and receive it authentically. Otherwise, it's just like, hey, you've just been in a cave for 100 years and now it's time to look directly at the sun. Even if I tried to hold your eyes open, your irises would dilate. So you got to find out where people are at and just gently turn up the light, and bring them into yourself. That's a part of you. The whole point of life experience is expansion, and so don't deny the negative aspects. They're tools that you can gain the benefit from when you look at them the right way. And expansion is an inclusive process. Love is inclusive. It includes things. And when you include things, you become bigger, you become more expansive. And expansion is the exquisite ecstasy and bliss of life. That's where all the satisfaction comes from. It's in that movement. That's why people say it's about the journey. It's not about getting to any level of expansion. It's about the expanding. And when you feel that inclusion and expansion within yourself, then you have something to give to others. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you need more assistance, you can check out my other videos. You can go visit my website. And if you need more help, you can book a consultation. Stay blessed.